the prize, I follow through. I'm unstoppable.
Welcome to Charmingly Toxic, where Prosecco meets psychology.
No doubt it's me who's running this. I got nothing else to lose.
Hey, Eleanor, welcome to Charmingly Toxic. Nice to have you this morning.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here.
Good. I usually cheers in the beginning of the podcast
Yeah.
with Prosecco, but I have green tea since we're recording in this morning. So cheers.
Yes. Cheers for my coffee.
So Eleanor is a friend I met a few years ago at a networking group, and we become fast friends, and she loves reality TV and documentaries. So happy to have you here today to talk about Love is Blind.
Yes. It's been on my mind for quite some time.
So if we just talk about the premise of the show in general, what do you think?
Well, this is the 9th season. So it's kind of a tried and true experience that obviously people like watching. I obviously think it's made for TV, and this is not really how people meet and fall in love and build lives together. And I mean, I'm sure if you look at the percentages, yes, some are going to make it, of course, because that's just percentages, but you're building a lifelong partner and relationship with somebody. You're not going to do it in 7 days. I don't care if you spent every waking second with them. You just don't know a person that well.
Exactly. And I think, on the Facebook groups that I follow, they've been pretty clear in breaking the fourth wall that they date, I think, in the pods for 10 days total. And then everyone proposes on the 10th day. So the editing we're seeing is a disaster.
Bizarre. It's
but
bizarre.
Now that the audience knows about how it really works, I think that they're going to have to switch it up come season 10 because the audience is much smarter. And we're saying, wait a second here.
Yeah. And on that note of what's really happening is, and I know we'll get to how these relationships progress, but there was a question about who pays for the ring, and if it doesn't work out, who gets it back or not. And then also I read this morning about if they don't actually get to the altar, then there's some kind of fine or penalty. So that's why we see some people go in there when you're like, I know this isn't gonna, I'm gonna watch it, but why are you there? Why did you make it all the way? When some people break up, post bachelor party or whatever.
So today I read that they get a certain amount of money if they go to the altar.
Okay, that would make more sense.
So I don't know. But in general, something is going on because I think from the get-go, well, some of them, as soon as they saw each other, they were like, absolutely not. And second of all, in Mexico, I think everybody knew in Mexico, this is not going to work. So the production had to have been like, okay, just pretend we've got a show to create.
Keep going. Yeah.
How can you hang in there?
And that's the danger of the reality show in general, the whole premise. Going back to Real World, when this first started, it was just we don't know what's going to happen. And so we're going to have to kind of just go with it. And now I feel like the producers are so much we keep the villains around because people love to hate them and people love to talk to them. And it's more of a just Calabria, keep up with this, this, even though you clearly are not interested, right? And then
just string them along. I think they might even say to her, can you just find one thing you like about him to focus on to keep you in the game? That's where we're at.
Which didn't happen with Nick. He was just absolutely not.
No.
There is not one thing.
So let's start with Madison and Joe's breakup.
Okay.
Oh my God. So Joe clearly.
Which drunken disaster was this one?
From the moment Joe saw her at the reveal, he was like, heck to the no. This is not who I have fantasized about in my head. This is not fantasy coming to real life at all. How am I going to figure this out? And we basically see him panicking the whole time, panicking in Mexico. Then they get back, panicking when they meet each other's parents, panicking when he's trying to get fitted for his tux. He's like, I can't.
But it seems like his coping for the panicking is whatever drugs and whatever alcohol. We're obviously not clear on how much they get in the pods, what they have access to, if they have access to their own medications. It's all a mystery. But when you see the interactions, especially that whole hotel scene where he didn't know where he was and she was freaking out, I asked her, have you ever been around people that drank too much. So that was bizarre. But okay, I'll give her a pass because she was very genuinely like, what is going on? Why are you so out of it? Right? She gave
Yeah,
him, a chance. But
she's
he
very
was
dramatic
just,
though.
I mean, she's immature. Like all of these people are relationshiply immature, whatever term that is. Like because they're at this point where like, I just want to make a connection. Well, they actually do all make a connection. So if that's the goal, that has happened. It's just that the demand of being married is just like where it like makes TV, right? That's the part we all want to watch because it's like, that's bizarre.
So the moment he's breaking up with her in the apartment, first of all, she's crying, has her glasses on. All I could see was these like inflated lips. I was like, did she just get her lips done the night before? I don't remember them being like that big, but she looked like,
No, and then with the glasses too, it was just a whole look. Like, bless her. And then her face was swollen from the tears. I was just like, oh, honey. I mean, I felt heartbroken for her because she was clearly blindsided. Nobody else watching this was, but she was.
and how could she have been? I mean, I don't think he was giving I love you vibes. And this is my problem with the show. I wish he could have just said, hey, I'm not attracted to you. Like, why couldn't he say that?
And I think that's a fundamental flaw because even if we jump back to Patrick and Casey, I think the stigma of saying I'm not attracted to somebody is so offensive that people are willing to get married or close to it so that they don't look like the bad guy. And that needs to change for
Yes,
us all to like be going along with this show. Cause otherwise, I mean, I feel like a lot of it's fake, at least the people's behavior. And we can see right through it. Like Joe was not interested. And I mean, so he just kind of kept getting drunk to just get through the parties and the
right.
singles night or the cowboy night, whatever the heck that was. And by the time he sobered up and put that tux on, he was just like,
Hell no.
there's no amount of drugs that is going to make me happy with this situation. And I kind of respected him for doing it at that point instead of breaking her
Well,
heart at the
yeah.
altar.
But I wish production would have pushed him to be like, just be honest with her. Just be honest instead of saying, hey, string this along so that we can almost get to the altar.
Right. And same with KC, like you see the production like on the side and the grayed out or whatever. And
Right.
it was just like, what did you really think? And she's just like, I'm not interested. Like I'm talking about Casey, but I think she's a nightmare. I'm glad she didn't keep pretending. Like at least she at first sight was like, oh, now I know what you're talking about when you talked about your insecurities with your ethnicity. Like I don't want to deal with that. And it's not for me. Like as crazy as she is, and I think the way she handled it was
Terrible.
horrifically vomitous. Like, oh my God. But I'm like, she called it.
Like, you don't even seem to like want to come for me. And he's like, dude, I just want to get the fuck out of here. Like, get me out of here. I'm so done with it.
I know he didn't, but it felt like his bags were already packed. Like he was
Yes.
just like, bye.
Okay, see ya. Never again.
And on the Joe Madison, I'm sure you've seen her glow up or
Yes.
because this was like a year ago. So like her current state. And I just saw headlines. I don't dive too deep because I don't know what's real news and what's not. But apparently she had an eating disorder because he called her fat. And I'm like, I think that's such a cop out of like, if you're insecure and that's something that you want to change, go for it and do it. And good luck to you. And you look fabulous. You look fabulous before.
She's definitely going to come to the reunion looking fabulous. I'll tell you that.
It's going to be like Barbie doll. I mean, I can
Yes, for
already,
sure.
I'm almost like chomping at the bit. Like, what is she going to look? They're all going to look like that, right?
So let's move on to Nick and Annie's breakup. This was like epic TV. I mean, this was great.
But not get enough. And not because I am excited about people's pain. Certainly not. It's just, she was like, no, we're not breaking up.
You can't break up with me. So
Right, we're getting married. You're just mad. We're still getting married, but let's just finish this argument.
can't he just say, clearly you have a problem with alcohol and I don't like it. I don't like the person you are when you drink. Like, why can't you just say that instead of giving her the runaround? Or maybe he did say it in the real breakup the night before. I think they really did break up the night before and they were kind of reenacting it. And she thought like she could beg him enough to get him back. But why not air that?
Well, I agree. And I kind of think that was the night before them at a group party, or was it just a night before they went out? Like, it
The
was
night
unclear
before,
to
I
me the
don't know, when she
timeline.
was drunk and she's like, "You don't
Yeah.
love me."
And they got chalupas and all of that. Because I say that because, I mean, this whole production crew is like, let's give them an open bar and like let them have it. And so I don't actually blame her for, I mean, who hasn't been that drunk having an argument with their fiance, right? Like, I think that's kind of a normal thing, but they portrayed her as always being in that state. And I don't think that's necessarily fair. I don't know, but I know I've sobered up before and been like, okay, that was a doozy. I apologize for that.
The Facebook sources, one of her friends has been popping in, commenting, being like, "I've been friends with her for years. This is how she always is. She doesn't react well to alcohol. This is her typical Friday night. This is her all the time."
So be it, but you're not ready for marriage anyway. Like,
No, and they
I
didn't have
don't
anything in
understand the
common.
obsession.
0.
I don't understand the obsession with, I don't care, I just want to be married. Like, she said that a couple times, and you're like, that's mortifying. What are you talking
Like,
about?
you can't change your mind. You've already said yes. You must marry me now.
You've proposed. So that's a promise.
No.
And I mean, can we please talk about, he just was not interested in her, whether it's a physical thing, whether it was because he wants to do other things with his life, or his, who he wants to date. I don't know. But like, I also feel, in one of the comments she said when she was very drunk, something like, you don't love me the way I want you to, or the way I love you, or whatever that. It felt to me that it potentially, and I saw this on Facebook because, I'm digging deep, but somebody said that perhaps there was like an intimate moment where it was not mutual. And so somebody saying that would make sense in that regard.
Right. So can we just talk about what's really happening? Like, when they keep it so vague, and I do think in the
Yeah.
beginning, he's like, "Oh, she looks the perfect part. She says the perfect things. Yeah, I can get on board with this." But then as time went on, he's like, "You're annoying as fuck when you drink." And like, it's intolerable. It's intolerable.
Surprised he didn't go through with it, because I feel like his upbringing molded him to be boxed in to the
Yeah.
perfect person on paper. And it perpetuated this, like, well, I look like I have the perfect wife. I look like I have the perfect village house, mountain man. And maybe that's not my true lifestyle, because there was a lot of red flags, and the
Yeah.
lifestyle, the like virgin corner of his garage, and like, just like,
Weird stuff.
it gave me ick factor of like, you're not living true to who you are. I don't care who you are, and I
Right.
don't care what you like and what you don't like, but you're portraying something that you're not, and that's what rubs me the wrong way,
I
not
mean,
the actual truth.
I think you're right. I think he would have walked down the aisle had she not been like, her crazy scared the shit out of him. Like, her drunk crazy, he was like, "I can't, there's no way. I can't tolerate
Yeah.
this."
And you think about it, they'd only known each other at that point 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Like, they'd only even like knew each other existed for 3 weeks.
No. But that was a great breakup when she was basically like, "Wait, you can't break up with me. I'm not letting you." He's like, "You can't make me walk down the aisle with you."
Yeah. And like I said, I'm surprised he didn't, whatever incentive they have to get there. And maybe he just was like, hey, it's not, nothing is worth this. Like,
Mm-mm.
I would rather whatever. In the way I think you talked about on your last podcast about this, but was his mother involved at that point, as far as her
Yes.
meeting Annie and just being like, oh, he's just so sensitive and he's just so blah, blah, blah. And the mom was like, how did you guys, get together? And she's like, well, we have the same favorite color. We like the same breakfast cereal, and it just like works. And you're like, you watch it back, like,
No.
honey.
I think, you bringing up the mom is a great segue into the weddings, because all the parents in these weddings, every single set of parents was like, "This is a horrible idea. Do not do this." And they were trying to say it in so many ways, except for upfront and out loud.
Please don't do it. Well, there were a few, well, that didn't show, so that says
Right.
something, right? And there were a few, like a friend or a sister. We don't even know who these people are, right? At this point, they're rushing through it at the end because they know what's the ultimate is going to happen. So they're like, let's just not spend a lot of time interviewing these people. But the one was just like, I love you, but this is the most ridiculous, and I do not support this. I'm surprised they even showed that.
So, okay, let's do Allie and Anton. Obviously, her mom is like, "Don't do this." Her best friend is like, "No way." Her sister's like, "Well, listen to your heart." But Allie faked it really, really well on the altar. I mean, she knew she was gonna say no, but she had him going. Now, I know she was not gonna marry him after she met with that couple and they went out to dinner. And when she came home that one night and like all the alcohol in the whole house was missing and he could not come up with a
And
lie.
you could see her on the couch, and this is like, she's like, "And the tequila's gone?" And he's like,
Is it?
"Here, let me see." And when he with that face, I was like, "I've seen that face before.
Yeah,
Dude,
liar.
you are buying 10 seconds to figure out something to say."
Yeah.
Right?
So she was like, "Oh no, I'm not marrying this alcoholic." But why? And I don't know. This is the thing. Do you think production was like, you got to go up there and pretend you're in until the last second?
If there is financial incentive, which we are suspecting there has to be something, I think she's a nice human being, but I think she's all about the money.
Yeah.
And so if there was like, "Well, you get $10,000 if you show up in a dress," she's probably like, "Well, I got to save face on this somehow." Right? She's like, "I got to probably give this ring back. And this loser truck driver is not going to take care of me for the rest of my life. I'm out of here." Like her whole thing was like, "I go to school, I work nights, I am a nurse, and I don't want to work. So like, what are you going to do about it?" And he's like, I don't, I'm a truck driver. Like I'm working and I want to have a couple beers when I'm home from work. And if that's not," and she's like, "But who's going to pay for my Botox? Like this, you're
See,
not thinking."
I got a totally different vibe. I thought he was like, it was very subtle, but I thought he would have been more controlling in the marriage. Like, I work, I have a beautiful wife. She doesn't have to work. I'll just take care of everything, but I'm going to limit her spending. And she was going to school to be a nurse. I mean, it's like she could have paid for a lot of her own stuff when she was out of school. I think he was just in it for this hot wife.
I agree. I agree with that. And I also think it's like the immaturity of relationships of like the hot wife thing. Like that's cool and you can get that, but I don't think on a truck driver salary. And no disrespect to that, because a hardworking man is a hardworking man, but her sights are set like up here,
Right.
right? And he's just like,
He's just like, I'm just going to stay right here.
"Yeah, I'm gonna have a bottle of tequila on the weekend and we're gonna order takeout. That's gonna be our like date night." And she's
Yeah. And
thinking
sometimes
like
I'll take you to the strip
diamonds.
club.
Yeah, which to be fair, if that's not the impression that he gave her in the pods, and she was just like, "Do you go to strip clubs?" "No." "Okay, great." And then she just assumed that was true and found out it wasn't true. That's shame on him. But
Yeah.
if he's just like, "I'm a guy, I hang out with friends, this is my lifestyle. Like, who are you? I met you 5 minutes ago. Like, who are you to judge me?" And then she's all like, "You do that? That's not appropriate. Like, you're not going to find that out in 14 days about somebody. They're not going to change. Like, you went out with a dude last weekend."
Do you think he was surprised? I mean, I think he was like, this is a 50-50 shot I have with her. Do you think he was surprised when she was like, yeah, I can't marry you?
I think it was 50-50. Like, I think he was probably like, "Well, I'll just go through. I mean, what's a divorce? Who cares? I'll just go through with it. And if it's great for TV, I'll get a good couple months, a couple good lays, some nice pictures."
In my notes, I wrote, this guy's 28. He looks like he's 45. He looks like he's lived a hard life.
He does. Well, I mean, that's kind of alcoholics age that way,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's because he is, but like he clearly has, when you lie about your behavior, it's a problem, whether it's a problem within yourself or with other people. But lying about it is just like the biggest red flag of like, you're not coming clean
Yeah.
about something, whether it's right or wrong.
I mean, for both him and Annie, I could see if they were super anxious, like kind of drinking their way through filming.
Yeah.
But
And Joe.
yeah, I don't know. I got a different feeling with him. Like alcohol is a huge part of this guy's life, like a huge
Yeah,
part.
because she even said something at the cowboy party, whatever that was. She was like, "Yeah, he comes home from work and like we sit and have breakfast and then he has 2 beers." And somebody was like, "He has beer for breakfast?" And she's like, "Oh no, it's the end of his workday." So
I mean, I don't think coming home and having 2 beers is an issue, but when she's like, where's the 12 pack? Where's the bottle of tequila? Where's all the Trulies? And he's like, I don't know.
and then he lied. He said Patrick came over and she was like, "What?" Bless her, because when I know someone's lying to me like that, I stop asking questions because I'm like, I've asked you 2 so far and they don't make sense. I'm not letting you lead me down this winding path of lies. So for her, she's like,
Right.
"Yeah, but so he was sitting in his butt imprints were on this cushion. Is that what you're saying? And he's like, well, no, it was the lobby. And she's like, so you brought drinks out of our refrigerator, walked into the elevator, and he's like, well, no, and then, so I'm happy she did that because it made him have to be honest.
Yeah. And thank God they're not getting married. That would have been a disaster. All right. Next people up are KB and Edmund. Oh my God. Okay. So from the jump, I was like, these two cannot be together because she cannot be his social worker or his mother or whoever she's trying to be for this guy. Like she just feels really bad for him. This is not real love.
It was sad that drew her in. Right? Like
Right.
that was, and I mean, I've felt that before. I'm a kind of person that wants to help people. And even like in my profession, someone's like, oh, I have this problem. I'm like, oh, you're in luck because that's what I do. Right. And then I'm like, no, they're not. They might not be seeking that, first of all. And second of all, like, no, that is not relationship. That is work.
Right.
And like she clearly, I just don't know what, even in the pods before even interacting with him in a physical, I'm like, I don't get it. I did not get it.
Mm-mm. No. And I kind of, okay, this is going to sound bad, but when they start filming their wedding day and she comes in with her hair already done and putting on her own makeup, I'm like, this bitch is not getting married today. She's like, fuck this.
Somebody wrote that on
Putting
Facebook.
no
It
effort
was,
in.
yeah.
Mom either. Her mom is like, I'm just going to throw my hair up and throw on a dress.
And I mean, yeah, for being petty, I mean, her dress, she looked like it was like a chicken feather, something.
It just
I'm like,
didn't suit her at all. I don't think.
I mean, Edmund's caveman emotional dysregulation is heartbreaking.
So this is my thing. You're a social worker, right? You know this. You know this man cannot regulate his emotions. He's going to freak out. He's having a panic attack right before the wedding as it is. You're going to break up with this guy on the altar. You are going to destroy him emotionally. This guy's not going to recover from this. And I felt so bad after when he was talking to the teacher and he was pretty much like, that was my last shot.
Yeah, this is it for me.
And I was like, oh my gosh, she's crying after and she feels bad. But girl, you did not have to do that to him.
She's crying because she feels bad about her behavior. She's not upset because she broke his heart. And that part, I'm like, girl, that's cruel. Like, you do know better. You
Yeah.
do know better.
Because this guy is not, he can't. It's
Can't
going to take
handle
him
it.
a very long time to recover from that.
From the out of the producer's screen, as far as like, is he mentally stable enough to handle a rejection like this? I don't know.
No, because I am worried truly that I mean, I know it's a year ago that he was probably suicidal after or might have been because his guttural sounds that come out of him.
Yeah.
You can hear like physical pain of rejection.
Yeah.
Then I felt so bad for the teacher because as soon watching the teacher's face when they were up there and she says no, the teacher's like, shit, now this is going to fall on me, right? I've got to go up there and pick up
I see what
pieces.
you're saying. I didn't see that part, but maybe I looked away from the screen at that moment. And like, shame on KB because like, as your profession and seeing if he was your client and he was describing this relationship to you as a clinician or a therapist, you'd be like, this is not an emotionally stable, this is not a safe relationship for you. This is not appropriate for you. Right. But here she is in it.
We saw her multiple times being like, hey, I don't like your behavior when you act like this. You're two different people. You act one way on screen, one way off screen. I mean, she knew she was not going to marry this guy. So again, I don't know if production's like, just keep it going. We don't have anyone getting married. Come
She
on.
knew there was an argument before the cowboy party because like in his mind, he's got tasks to do for his day, whether it's his job or whatever. Like I've got to pick up groceries. I've got to put the groceries away. Right. And like for some other people, like I don't have to think about that stuff. It just happens. Right.
Right.
And so for her to be like, I asked you to pick up dinner. And he's like, I didn't know you'd be hungry. Or I'm making that up, but that kind of relationship of she's like, I have an expectation for you to step up. And he clearly is just not capable of that. Maybe he will be eventually. And I think she was like, if I can just tell him exactly what to do, then we can get through this. And he just was like, I'm a grown man, but that's about all I can handle.
No, he's like a 10-year-old also. So there's no way they were on any level together at all.
I mean, some of his outbursts and some of his I mean, the whole in Mexico or wherever they were of like, you have sex with other people?
He was crying. I mean, just cries.
And the thing was, it was almost so innocent because he wasn't like, we should have sex. He was just like, what?
He's just rejection sensitive. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's the relationship. And I think just the emotional maturity of a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, and you're at the altar to get married as an adult man. Like you're not in, and that's what I said about the screening with these producers. I'm like, good TV, really shitty decision for
Right.
somebody's life.
And I
Like
hope
that
they
is
had a
just
mental
not
health
cool.
therapist in the background for him because they should have been worried at that point.
Well, it's interesting because I don't know if you watched that documentary about The Biggest Loser
Mm-hmm.
on Netflix. And the only thing, it struck me because somebody said there should be a therapist on staff that helps
Right.
these contestants. And the producer was like, I'm all for mental health and helping people, but he goes, I'm making a show. So that's actually not my job. And while I thought it was very distasteful, I'm like, you're actually right. It's not the responsibility because we're all sitting here like this, right? Like they're getting what they're
But at the
making.
end of the day, I want to know this guy's not going to be
Yeah,
suicidal or he's going to have some going making a safety plan with him. Like that's not good TV for me to worry about his mental health.
but the reunion is going to be
Yes.
wildly interesting.
All right. So then 2 wedding fails. This is great. And in my first Love is Blind podcast, I predicted no one is going to make it in this season. And I was right.
You did, you
I
did.
did.
Oh, I've heard that others have got together.
Okay.
But that's for another day.
Yes. So Sparkle, Megan, and Jordan. I mean, what did you think of them overall?
What's the term these days? It's like not serious. Like you're trying to pretend to do serious grown-up things. And your levels of comprehension and understanding how this is going to work was not in sync at all, ever. And if I hear anything else about type 1 diabetes being a sign, like total barf.
That was ridiculous.
And she kept saying, like, every time the camera was on her, she was talking about her dad. Like,
Yeah, like trying to make this a sign that they're meant to be. That was a huge stretch.
I don't know how many people have type 1 diabetes, but I'm sure it's more than one.
It's not like some rare disease.
And even if it was, what does that have to do with marrying somebody? Like, I mean,
I don't know. I found her very inauthentic and she said it pretty clearly at the end episode. Like, I want to do whatever I want to do. And I want someone to want to do that with me.
to share it with, right?
Right.
I want
To
somebody
come along for the ride. And
begrudge her that. This is just not the platform or the guy for that.
no,
Like, clearly.
I mean, I don't remember in the pods. He was very like, I'm a dad first and foremost. He led with dad all the time. So I don't remember him being like, yeah, I could just pick up and travel and go wherever, whenever. I don't think he ever lied about any
He
of
never,
that.
nope. I don't think he was deceptive at all. I mean, even when he showed the apartment, he was like, yeah, my son gets the master room because I sleep on the couch.
Yeah.
And she's just like, what, she's like, what is this?
What
And
is
he's
this?
like, it's a toy.
I think she had this fantasy in her head that she's going to show him this opulent lifestyle and he's going to be like, this is fantastic. This is everything I've ever wanted. Take me and my son everywhere. We want to experience everything. And when
Yeah.
he was like, yeah, I'm not really like, this is not really doing it for me.
I think because he didn't do that and she wasn't willing to fit in, because he was like, you're going to either fit into our lives or we're not doing this. And it didn't click to her because she's just like, but once you see that we can live in a $2 million house and I got this, don't even worry about it. I drive a nice car. You are going to see. And when he was just like, he's like, please don't buy my kid things.
Yeah, I don't really
Like he just,
care.
yeah, I don't care about your money. She was just very put off
Mhm.
because she dated billionaires and it didn't work out. And I'm like, oh, would maybe because you led with call me Sparkle Megan. I don't know.
It was horrible.
Disaster.
But
I think she thought
also,
it was going to land big time and it just
it
didn't.
didn't. She's not sparkly also. Like, her personality is pretty flat. But I think in Mexico, again, she knew, this guy's boring. He's not my thing. He's not my type. I'm going to try to make it work. I'm going to try to entice him with all of my material
Yeah.
things.
And her palate, her sophisticated palate, she kept talking about how,
Gosh. And
well, I
he's
eat
like,
expensive food and you like peanut butter and jelly. And she's like, opposites attract, you know? And I'm like, what the fuck are you what?
no. And I just
Burrata
kept
cheese?
thinking,
You never heard of burrata cheese? And he's like,
just
I
give me
got
a
Happy
hamburger.
Meals. Yeah. Like I'm doing Happy Meals over here.
I felt bad for Luca's mom this whole time. I'm like, this woman's got to be freaking out that her ex-husband is going on this stupid show. Who is he going to bring into our son's life?
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, I kind of feel like production did them a little dirty because they gave them 3 minutes at the end to wrap up this whole thing. And he was just like, yeah, I wish I wouldn't have, introduced Luca to this. And I like agree, but you had like 48 hours to like do or die. Like you're getting married or not, which one? And
Right.
I am kind of impressed that Megan called it off when she did, because she could have easily done this at the altar. But I'm sure she had a little bit more self-respect of like, well, I don't want his son in the front row crying and being like, Dad, what's up? Like, we're not doing this now. Like,
I just think it's yucky all overall if you're going into this and you have a young child. Like, how are you supposed to navigate that in general?
yeah.
It just doesn't.
Again, the producer's screening, like, I think because like if you watch The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, like those people that they're recruiting for those are now single parents. And that kind of tugs at heartstrings of America, if you will, of like, oh, look at them. They're trying to pull together. You just need a partner to, complete them. And I just think I agree with you. I think it's a gross offshoot of like his screening pool of people. Like, I'm like, why are we screening for that?
I think it just does harm to children. I don't think they do it intentionally, but in my work, I work with a lot of women who are separated, divorced, and then thinking about dating again. We talk about a timeline of like when you're gonna, let the child even know you're dating or who you're dating. And the timeline's usually 6 months to a year. It's not 4 weeks. Here's my new boyfriend. Here's my new girlfriend. That's
Here's your new
so
mommy.
right. Exactly. Here's your new mom.
Well, and I thought it was bizarre that and maybe again, I'm giving editing a lot of like, I'm giving the participants a lot of credit because editing they can't control. But she was very much like, oh, I'm going to be a mom like next week. Cool. So do I have to buy like clothes or like, how does this mom thing work? And, I'm sure the actual biological mother was just like, bitch, this is not how it works, honey. You don't just get to roll up in here and make a bedroom for him.
A lot of ick moments. But then we see the trailer for the reunion.
Oh, I didn't watch it. I don't watch trailers because it gives away. But tell me what you saw.
She's pregnant. She's already had a
Oh, I
kid.
did see that. I did see that on Face. When I see Facebook posts pop up, that I'm like, I didn't see that yet.
Yes. Well,
But
they said
yeah,
on the trailer that someone's going to announce they're a mother or they're going to be a mother.
yeah. So what do we think about that? Did she just go get knocked up?
I don't know. I mean, it seems like they filmed this a long time ago because I saw
Yes.
someone on Facebook trying to put the timeline together. Like, was she cheating on him with someone else? But it seems like maybe
I
she
don't
just
think there
met.
was time.
I think she met someone right after, maybe, and who knows if they're together or not. But now she knows what it's like to be a mom.
I thought it was so interesting that going back to her, like, how does this mom thing work? Right. And to give her credit, before we had children, we kind of had ideas of like, oh, I'll sleep when they sleep. And and
Right.
she's just like, and she's looking at Jordan like, well, I'm going to have round the clock nannies. Like, do you think I'm actually going to, like, my body's going to actually, like, I'm not getting a stretch mark. Right? So to me, and then to know that she's pregnant maybe a year later, who knows the timeline, but I wish they were a lot more forthcoming on the timeline though, like you said, with is it 10 days they're in the pods? Because I think Allie and Anton got engaged in like the first episode, which made it seem like 3 hours.
Right. So I think they need to revamp the show
Yeah.
in many ways. And maybe
I love it, but yes, it messes with my head because I'm like, a lot of this doesn't make sense.
no. And like I talked about in the other podcast about what is the point of Nick and Vanessa Lachey, being the host? At some point I was like, well, maybe Vanessa could pop in on the girls and be like, so what the hell is happening here? Like, do you like this guy or not? But she's so fake, Vanessa. Like, you need someone real in there asking them real questions.
Yeah, I think it would be beneficial because when they do the side interviews, so if they're in the pods and then they do the side interviews with the background color and they're all dressed up, you can kind of go, okay, that seems like it was after an announcement. Like my brain is constantly going, well, when are you saying this?
Hmm.
Because you didn't find out this information. And I think Vanessa and Nick Lachey, I think their only purpose is the reunion.
And they suck at it. They suck at the reunion.
Everybody's fighting, and then she's like, "So, what do you think about the color purple?"
Okay,
And
moving
I'm like,
along.
let them talk. Like, what?
Yes.
That's what we're all here for. We're all here to get the tea on like where they are now. Like, where are you now?
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be positive. It can just be real.
The percentages of the people that did get married, like, are in the single digits that are still married.
Right. And I don't know who I was talking to about it, but I was like, and of those people that did get married, how long have they been married for? Right. We haven't seen the divorces yet, which I'm sure are coming.
Yeah, I've seen a few just because being in the online world of these reality shows, you'll see a headline pop up of their glow ups, right? Like of,
Right.
somebody had an eating disorder now, so everything's all better. And I'm just like, this is so gross.
Or you'll see they had a baby together, right? A year after the show wrapped. And I'm like, okay, show me 4 years from now when they're like, I hate you. Bring those people back on. Why Love is Blind did not work.
Well, sometimes in the reunion, those people will be in the audience and they'll only if there's like a success, right? They'll like pan to
Yeah. I
them
want
and
to see
go,
all of it.
yeah, I do too. I do too. I mean, I think overall this season was it was obviously a Love is Not Blind or Love is Not Blind?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I just said there's
Which one are
no
we trying
winners.
to do?
No winners in Denver. That's what I said.
And somebody else had said something where like a lot of these people weren't even from Denver.
Really?
And so it's kind of like if we're picking cities, like, are we looking for authentic city folk or like, because I think it's Megan Sparkle or whatever her name is, like lived in LA. She's like, I have a house in LA and I blah, blah, blah. And like, I think, again, this was somebody on Facebook said something like, I think there's these big pools of reality people. And they like play some like you go on Love Island, you go on Love is Blind, and they're just kind of plucking and picking. And when these are cities, we think that these are like locals from the city, but a lot of times I don't think that's the case nowadays. Like back in the day when it was originals,
You live within 4 hours of Denver, whether it's by plane, train, or car.
right?
You can be
Right.
a
Could
cast
be
member.
LA, could be Reno. And like to be fair, I guess it doesn't really matter, like I just thought overall it was a great watch, but like super stinker of a matchmaking show.
That whole concept sucks. That's why.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, and because it's not
Real.
real, right? It's not real life, people.
So, okay, my question is of the whole cast, who do you think was the most toxic person?
I want to say, I want to say Casey
Mm,
because the whole I'm breaking up with you, but love bombing you to confuse you so you're not mad at me. It was so like, I actually had a visceral reaction to that.
yeah.
Like, I was like, please stop. Because then they interviewed him and he's like, she's still into me. So whatever.
Oh,
And we were all like, no, no.
yeah.
So it's a tie between her and KB because what KB did is wildly inappropriate for her profession and this poor mentally unstable man
Yeah,
child.
that is true.
What do you think?
I agree with Casey. I also just did not like Nick, like,
Yeah.
at all through the pods.
He was gross to me.
He's just gross. I mean, ugh, who
Totally
cares?
got gay vibes from him from the get-go, which do you, but it just everything you said and did felt inauthentic because of that.
Yeah, really, really bad. Next question. Did you watch on Netflix The Perfect Neighbor?
Yes.
My gosh. I'm running out of time. We'll have to talk about that another time. But before
Okay.
we go, I want you to plug your podcast.
Yeah. So Holistic Hormone Podcast by Eleanor Dooley. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a naturopathic doctor. So I'm not a medical doctor, but I help women understand their bodies. And when they don't get the answers that they want from their conventional doctor, they can come talk to me. And I do blood work, I do hormone testing, and I actually tell you what it means. So it's a wildly different concept than what we're used to.
And I would love to have you back again to talk about
Yes.
this or something else.
Yes.
Stay tuned next week. My friend Joanne is back. We're going to talk all things Salt Lake City. This week's episode was truly epic. And this show is just bringing it this season. It's so, so good. So I'll see you all next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Charmingly Toxic with me, your host, Denise Capurso. Be sure to like, subscribe, and pass on to your fellow reality TV junkies. You can connect with me on Instagram at Denise_support coach and on Facebook at Denise Capurso Counseling and Coaching. This podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only. While I am a licensed therapist, I'm not diagnosing anyone for therapeutic purposes, and these are not my clients. Expect sarcasm, snark, and a few clinical insights woven in. I talk about toxic relationships, power dynamics, and emotional safety. But this is not therapy, treatment, or a substitute for professional care. If you're looking for support, please consult a qualified mental health provider. If you're here for validation, insight, and a little side eye, welcome.